Today we're going to talk about how your brain works. Like anytime I talk about how your brain works, please keep in mind that this is very simplified information. It is not meant to take the place of any medical advice or therapeutic advice that you might receive, but it's just kind of an overview of some broad topics, okay? Today's question is, what is neuroception? Neuroception might be something you've heard of, might not be something you've heard of, but essentially what it is our ability to detect risk and safety without conscious awareness. What does that mean? How does that work? So our system has an ability to detect risk and safety around us without our thinking about it. Okay, it takes place below the level of thinking. And in order to understand how that works, I need to talk a little bit about your nervous system. So your nervous system has two major divisions. Central nervous system, that's your brain and spinal cord. Okay, that's what that is. Peripheral nervous system is the second major division, and that is all of the nerves and things that are outside of your brain and spinal cord. So all the other nerves in your body, basically. The peripheral nervous system is further divided into two sections. One is the somatic nervous system. That's your voluntary types of, things that are under your control, movements that you can think about and carry out. So I'm going to make a fist right now and put my hand up in the air. That's something that I thought about, I carried out. It was under my voluntary control. The second part of the peripheral nervous system is the autonomic nervous system, the ANS, okay? The autonomic nervous system is responsible for automatic functions. So you can kind of think autonomic, automatic, heartbeat, respiratory rate, pupil response, body temperature, those kinds of things, okay? And I'm looking at my notes because I want to make sure I say everything very clearly. So the autonomic nervous system is the part that happens without any thought or planning or control. It has some additional branches. I could talk more about what it controls and different parts that control. But essentially what we want to think about here for the autonomic nervous system, or the ANS, is that it happens automatically. Now, to get back to the question, what is neuroception? Neuroception is our body's assessment of risk and safety without conscious thought, or below the level of conscious thought, without our awareness. So as you can imagine, it largely takes place with the ANS system, okay? So our ANS is constantly scanning within our bodies, outside of us, in our environment, and in the space between us and other people, our relationships. So information comes to our ANS through three avenues, I guess: inside our body, outside the environment, and the space between us and other people, our relationships, okay? Now, its whole purpose is to keep us safe. That's what it's designed for. It's scanning for risk and safety cues in those three settings or environments, I guess. So what does that mean for most of us? For most of us, what that means is that our system's ability to scan and assess levels of risk and safety keeps us in balance, keeps us in homeostasis, if you will, okay? Our ANS is just kind of checking out what's going on there and responding appropriately, keeps us in balance. For those who have experienced trauma, sometimes the ANS seems to be a little bit wonky, if you will. Sometimes the responses don't seem to be correctly in alignment with what's actually happening. And sometimes the responses are over or under responsive. And that can lead to feelings of responsibility or blame when you have sensations in your body that you don't understand or that don't seem to be fitting with the situation. Some people can even feel shame about that. But what's really important to remember is that this is all happening within your ANS, your autonomic nervous system. It is outside of your control and your conscious thought. So there's absolutely no reason to be blameful or shameful about any of that. Now, the good news is there's lots of ways that you can mitigate those responses and address those autonomic nervous system responses if you've experienced trauma, to get them back kind of in alignment and homeostasis. But that is a whole different video for a whole different day. So neuroception is your ability to detect risk and safety outside of conscious awareness. And the entire purpose of this is to keep you safe, to keep you alive and for another day, which is exactly what your brain is designed to do. So thank you for joining me today. in talking about how your brain works.